Anybody have any positive recognition?
I'd just like to say great job for the Janesville Night Out. If anybody helped with that or whatever, I thought that was a great turnout for that. And then Pemberton had their Summerfest days this past weekend and it turned out really well. And Waldorf is coming up, so letting people know that.
Anybody have anything else?
Our custodians have done a great job getting ready for the school year. The building's ready to go and just finishing up some little things here and there in a few classrooms.
Good. Alrighty, we will move on to reports and presentations with the superintendent report.
A lot going on getting ready for the school year. So today we had new teacher workshop. So it's good to have people back in the building. Then we have 22 new students compared to what we had in the spring, so that's been a positive. And then our EMR class and our reffing classes are all set to go. Scheduling is in finishing up the final project or process where they're filling in gaps and everything, so that's been going well. The final class size audit will be done on Wednesday with some potential changes in the area of music, maybe a CIS class or two, Spanish, and yearbook and publication. And then all of the staff that we've been seeing have been coming in with a sense of positivity and enjoyment, so climate seems to be really positive right now. As you may have noticed, the fall sports have started. They started varsity, or 9 through 12 started last week, and 7th and 8th grade started today. So some numbers for you is 7th and 8th grade football has 29 athletes in it right now. 9 through 12 has 47. 7th and 8th grade volleyball has 26. 9 through 12 volleyball has 33. Cheerleading has 8. Cross country has 9 from JWP and 11 from WEM for a total of 20 athletes, but I did hear today that there's going to be at least 1 or 2 more signing up from JWP. And then volleyball's first game is this Thursday against Fairmont. Football's first game is next Thursday against Fillmore Central, and those are both home games. And then cross country's first meet will be August 22nd at Fairmont. Homecoming, so everybody can prepare for that, is October 3rd. And then season passes are going out this week also, so if parents want to buy passes to get into the activities and events, they can do that. Wendy will talk about Treasurer's Report in just a little bit. Community education, the state licensor was here. That visit went well. He gave us some areas we can work on and how we could address those areas, so we'll plan on addressing those areas. Summer SAC is wrapping up on Wednesday. It's been a busy summer overall, but successful with higher attendance than in the past years. So that's a good thing that we'll see, that we've been seeing. Mike will talk about buildings and grounds in a little bit. With technology and integration, all of our Chromebooks are here. The new carts are here. They're distributed out to classrooms. They're ready to go. We talked about a checkout system for those families that would like a Chromebook at home throughout the year. That, if they would like to check one out for at home, that goes through Adam. But if it's a short term and they're checking it out day to day, that goes through Nate in the Media Center, and that will be set up just like a book checkout. So there'll be a barcode on it. He scans it. It goes to that person. Then they bring it back the next morning, he scans it back in and gets it ready for the next person to check it out. In human resources, just getting through a new teacher workshop. Our workshop schedule is set for next week. District newsletter will be going out in September to all residents. We started a new employee recognition program last year. We're gonna continue with that and run that very similar to last year. However, this year, we're able to use some funds for wellness dollars we're getting from South Central Service Cooperative. And we're starting to prepare the STAR report and the compensatory report for the state. So, as far as me, I'm just excited to get people back in the building and ready for the kids to be here.
Are we fully staffed?
We are fully staffed. There aren't many years I can say that. We are fully staffed right now. Knock on Formica. Hopefully it doesn't change. Are there any questions for me?
Alrighty, thank you. We will move on to Michael with the buildings and grounds.
Ready?
Hi, I'm Michael Dashner, Buildings and Grounds Director here at JWP. Want to update on Ms. Ammerman's science classroom area. We took down a partitioned wall that was halfway through the room. We took the countertop spaces off. There was 6 cabinets that were underneath there. We removed that portion of it. The concrete block was removed. We took it to the back half of the wall, and then we epoxied and top coated the floor, put complete full cabinets back in underneath in its location. So we opened it up for, I believe she's got 27 or 28 students that are in her class this year. So her space was quite limited. So if you get an opportunity to go down there, it looks quite a bit different than it was. And then, yes, we put an additional TV screen that we had in our possession on the wall so we could mirror her Prometheum board, so all the students will have an opportunity to see from all seated desks or whatever like that, so. Ewell is our operation portion of the building. They're the ones that do the mechanical side of controlling our environment in the building, basically. They're the programmers that make our dehumidification and equipment like that work. The thing that we're talking about now is upgrading some of the old microzone systems. The microzone systems that are operating our building are running on like a 3.1, and the rest of the building's running on 11.3 software, and it's maxed out at that point. That information was pretty much outdated in the beginning of the 2000s. So when we expanded the project on the dehumidification, I took all of the old MB3 2000s or 200s or whatever they are and put them in a shelf and said, maybe someday we'll need them. We're repurposing them now. We put them back in places, taking them out, so now we're just paying for an electrician and a programmer to tie them in to make our building smarter so that we can see things that are happening in real time, get updates so that we can stay ahead of anything that's happening. Desk, chairs and shades. First, we ordered desks for one of the 4th grade classrooms, and we removed some of the old flip-top desks from it. I believe we got 25 or 26 desks in there. We made them more universal so that they could be used in the high school as well. But by retracting the other flip-top desks out, that gave us more opportunities to take the broken ones out of some of the other classrooms, exchange them in and out. So I think we have about 15 or 20 desks that are not broken that we can use and be utilized in the 4th grade classrooms or 3rd and younger, because them flip-top desks work, but they're hard to get parts and they smash fingers. So we're trying to remedy that as much as possible. Shades. Oh, no, the blinds or the shades we put in the multi-purpose room. There's 6 windows in that area that are 8 feet off the ground. There's nothing you can do with it. Spring of the year, you get the light that shines through. The multi-purpose, they have softball and baseball in there. It's hard to identify the baseball or the softball because of the light, the way the sun's coming up in the morning. We put them on the wall or over the windows. They're solar, they're remote controlled operated, so no one has to have a chain hanging down, so we don't have to worry about safety situations like that. And my blessing is climate control. I can keep those blinds down when that sun's shining through. We don't get the heat up of that large room. It makes our building that much more efficient if you don't have that thermal heat coming through those windows and warming it up, unless it's the winter months, obviously, where we would like to utilize it as much as possible. And along with that, I think 2 weeks ago, you guys got a check for the shade for the front playground. We've had 811 come in, we verified our placement. It came back as clean, so we can anticipate a spring install of that. There's nothing in our way to be doing the sono tubes, so that we'll have a, was it 45 by 50 or
40 by 50.
50 shade across our large front playground, and hopefully it works out, and maybe in the future we can put one in the back playground, because we all know about trees. Building's ready, as Jeremy mentioned. Yes, we are, I am very happy to say I am fully staffed. I have a new employee that started today, Gary Hayes. Oops, you're gonna say names? Sorry. And anyways, another evening custodian, so I am fully staffed. I'm very excited about it. Our daytime position, he is very experienced. He's been in Owatonna School District, he has been in Waseca School District, so I'm excited to have someone that with experience taking on the day position. And then, other than that, yeah, just smalls, teachers obviously in the building, we'll find out what we missed, but yeah, we're ready to go. I'm very excited about it. And then I think we just finished up our phone homes today. My team worked on getting those boxes built for the classrooms, so that being said, does anyone have any questions for me? Wonderful, thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, we'll go on to budget information and the treasurer's report.
Thank you. We'll look at our cash balances, our student counts, and our very preliminary budget to actuals. Our cash balances, you can see we're following the trend we have the last few years. However, we are, the blue line on the bottom is where we're currently at. So we want to try to not get too much lower than that as we go forward in the next couple of years. Like I said, the trend is there, but the actual dollars are lower. So we'll keep an eye on that and keep tightening our belts as we go through the next couple of years. Estimated student counts, I looked again at last Friday, I looked at how many actual students are enrolled. So I've got the 24-25 ADM at the left side, just to kind of compare, and then what the adjustment was last month that I presented, and that 586 at the bottom is our budget number. Then I looked at actual enrollment again, like I said, last week, and pulled some adjustments out for PSEO and the early childhood special education. I don't generally count those kids just because we don't know what kind of ADM they'll generate for us. So if we don't count on them, whatever we get is kind of icing on the cake for those. So we're looking at about 11 more students possibly in our adjusted ADM than what we budgeted. So we'll see as, I'll keep an eye on things as PSEO numbers come in more. Andrea Grusendorf, I checked with her today and she said she's still kind of trying to nail down a few students, see if they've registered, see what classes they're taking, how many credits they're taking. So we'll just keep an eye on that and not get surprised with 50 ADM less like we did last year, so.
So is the -16, -5 kind of mostly PSEO
Yep.
accounting for that?
Yep,
Okay.
those adjustments are for high school for PSEO, ADM that likely won't be able to capture on those students.
And those are just not the full-time PSEO or
Both,
Both, a little
yep,
bit
there's
of both?
a mix
Okay.
of full-time and part-time.
Sure.
Just kind of estimating how many hours we will have them.
Sure. Okay.
For those. So, there's maybe, 40 students doing PSEO, but I just kind of threw that number out there. I don't have the exact count of how many, but some of them are only doing part-time or maybe one class. So we get them 6 out of the 7 hours kind of thing, so. And then this is a very preliminary budget to actual. It looks a little scary right now, but we're still receiving some money for, in July and August that will need to be pushed back into fiscal '25. So the revenue down below on the preliminary year-to-date, that first orange column is our expenditures, and revenues that are the actual amounts compared to the purple budget amounts. But we will be doing a lot more adjusting and making sure things are in the right places and in the right fiscal years. But I'm still kind of anticipating that $500,000 over budget that we were kind of looking at when we did our revision. So again, just continuing to tighten our belts. The good news is, like I said, we've got about 11 more students than what we had budgeted for this coming year. And Mike was doing a great job at, we did a lot of our big projects. And so as Mike and I have talked about, we don't have anything real big and pressing coming up unless there's some kind of act of God, which knock on wood, right? So I think we're pretty well set facility-wise, grounds-wise on some of these big projects. So, as long as we can kind of maintain and just kind of stay within our means for the next couple of years, we should be able to get through this kind of rough year. And that is all.
Any questions? All right, thank you, Wendy. All right, we will move on to the consent agenda. The policies that are in there are due to some of the 2025 Minnesota legislature, the changes that they made. So that's why they're in the consent agenda. Does anybody have anything that they want to pull from the consent agenda? Okay, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Laura Size, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Joni Olson. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 6-0. On to old business, the school resource officer update.
Okay, so, we've talked about this quite a bit, and we went to the school, or to the city council and asked if they'd be willing to change the contract to start paying where we would only pay $20,000 a year, starting January 1st. They agreed to it, everything was going well. I went back to them after we had discussed it more as a school board and asked if they'd be willing to go back, or start September 1st of this year, rather than January 1st. They had their meeting, they discussed it. They aren't willing to go back to January, or to September 1st, but they are willing to go back to November 1st. So that will save the district about $10,000, just going back that 2 months. So we have a good plan in place. I can thank the city for being, working with us on this and continuing to have their school resource officer here.
Good job. Thank you for
Yes,
doing that.
Thank you. Any questions on that? Okay, on to new business. The 25-26 meal prices.
The students do not pay for their first meal, of course, with the Minnesota free meals. However, we still need to kind of have a meal price on the books, so that if that goes away and we need to start charging families, we're not charging them, $2 the last time we charged, and now we need to charge $5 and have this huge gap. So every year, it's recommended that we take a look at the CPI and take a look at adjusting our prices. So these are the prices that would be on the books for our lunch service. But as I mentioned, that first meal would be no charge to the families. And then you can see the prices for the second entree. For breakfast have stayed the same. Nope, they've increased, but you can kind of see the CPI and see where the increases are. Just a few you know, 5-10 cents here and there, just to kind of keep up with inflation and make sure we have a good price if we ever need to charge for lunch again. So I would ask the board to approve these prices for the kitchen.
Any questions?
Do we know, just in the MSBA emails, the one that came out about the Make America Healthy Again and where lunches are potentially going to be more expensive? That's pretty early in the.
Very
okay.
early in their discussion, so. I've not gotten anything formal about this is what they're looking at. Typically, that would go through Lunchtime Solutions before it'd even get to me,
Okay.
so.
Any other questions? If not, do I have a motion to approve the 25-26 meal prices?
So moved.
Motion by Laura Size, do I have a second?
Second?
Second by Monica Erickson. Is there any discussion? If no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 6-0. Next is calendar changes.
I brought this, or we met with our professional development committee a couple weeks ago, to figure out what we wanted to do with the high school staff on those professional development days that we have letters training for elementary. There was a group of 8 or so teachers, along with Annika, David, Jeff, and myself. Just sat down for an hour with them to say, okay, what are you looking for in trainings and everything? And so what they did is they proposed that we have school on those training days. So rather than have the high school having those staff development days or training days off, when the elementary teachers are doing letters training, they would rather have the students here in school. So it would give them 4 additional student contact days throughout the school year. They feel like that's the best use of their time. So what we would do is our current calendar would be the elementary calendar for us. So this is our current calendar, and we have training days on November 4th, January 20th, March 27th, and then May 1st. So what we would do would change those dates, or they would stay the same for the elementary, but the high school, they would be changed. So those would be student contact days. So it would increase the number of days the students are here for the high school.
Is that gonna be a babysitting issue for families? and
We've talked about that,
transportation?
and in our policy for attendance, taking care of a sibling is not an excused absence. But in this situation, if it were one of those 4 days, we would excuse it.
Okay. Is that a transportation issue? at
No.
all? No?
Buses will run like normal, lunch will run like normal. So,
So you're increasing the number of student contact days at the secondary level?
yep, by 4.
And that's not a contractual issue that anybody's gonna have any?
Nope, and we asked that question.
Okay.
Is this gonna be a contract issue? And they said nope, and the presidents were there at the meeting with us.
And this is just for this year, but it could be different, like, it's not gonna stay at that number of contact days, or going forward, that will be the number of student contact days that will be at the secondary level?
It shouldn't affect us next year because we'll go back to that,
Okay,
and everybody will have those 4 additional
Okay.
days next year.
okay.
Unless something more comes with READ Act.
Right, okay. Sounds good.
So they would have 0, high school would have 0 staff development?
They would have 1 staff development day on President's Day in February.
Okay.
And is that something that we have to provide more than, like, so many staff development days for the high school too? Or
No.
is that's all we have to? Okay.
Yep. The only thing the contract says is they have to have a workshop day at the end of each quarter.
Oh, okay. I think this is great. It shows the dedication of our staff, I think, to teach our kids, so that's awesome.
Do you need this approved?
Yes.
or- Okay. Any other questions on that?
So a vote was taken and the high school staff want to do that? Or was it just those representatives?
It was those representatives, but the staff doesn't get a vote on the calendar.
Okay.
The school board votes on the calendar.
Okay.
They just get to make a recommendation.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Okay, but they don't have to agree on the number of contact days?
Mhm.
Okay, sounds good. Good.
It just seems
It
a little
seems-
scary, doesn't it? Like-
Yeah, a little
like
bit.
Something's gonna kick back
Does the
on that.
contract just have the contract days, right? Like
Yep, 183 contract days.
There's nothing in there
About
about,
student contact. okay.
right?
Okay.
Yep. And you're good, I suppose. Yep.
Okay. Perfect. Do I have a motion to approve? And we're just approving, do you need just the high school one approved, or do you need both of
The
them?
elementary one's already been approved.
Okay,
So
so
it'd be
just
just
the-
the high school.
Okay, so do I have a motion to approve the new calendar for the high school?
So moved.
Motion by Joni Olson. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Laura Size. Is there any further discussion? If no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 6-0. Alrighty. On to a bunch of agreements.
Yes, a number of agreements. Wendy, you want them?
Sure. These are just our standard agreements that we have with Wasika as part of our special ed co-op. Annika checked the math this year, so they should tie out the way we want them to. So these are all just really the same, kind of the same as what we've done every year, so we can share services with Wasika, and we don't have to hire all these people ourselves.
And these are all the same ones as past years? There's no new ones?
That's correct.
Okay. Any questions on those before we start pushing them out? All right. Do I have a motion to approve the agreement concerning the staff for special education administration?
So moved.
Motion by Monica Erickson. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Laura Size. Is there any further discussion? If no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 6-0. Do I have a motion to approve the agreement for the behavioral consultant with Wasika and JWP?
So moved.
Motion by Laura Size. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Dave Olson. Is there any further discussion? If no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 6-0. Do I have a motion to approve the third-party billing specialist?
So moved.
Motion by Laura Size. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Joni Olson. Is there any discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 6-0. Do I have a motion to approve the agreement for the occupational therapist?
I'll motion.
Motion by Dave Olson. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Laura Size. Is there any discussion? If no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 6-0. One more. Motion to approve the agreement for the physical therapist between Wasika and JWP.
So moved.
Motion by Joni Olson. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Laura Size. Is there any discussion? If no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 6-0. All right, on to the fiscal compliance and procedure manual.
Just a reminder that this is a fiscal compliance and procedures that we need to follow for receiving and spending federal funds. So every year we take a look at it, best practice anyway, we try to take a look at it every year. make sure it's updated. So I've updated there on page 1 with staff that have changed since last fall. Page 2, our organization structure, you'll see the red strikeout. We don't have the assistant special education director any longer on our structure. And then page 6, the only changes here is that the federal thresholds for small purchases and proposals and things have changed. So those are updated to reflect the federal guidelines now for the thresholds. So page 6 and page 8 have some updated amounts. So if that were approved, then this is a manual that we share with our staff who work with any kind of federal procurement and requisitions. And so these attachments will be presented to our staff this week, and they'll sign these or next week. And we'll have all of our teachers and staff who work with federal funds will say that they will follow our codes of conduct and read and understand this compliance and procedure manual, so we are compliant with our federal funding.
Perfect, thank you. Any questions? Do I have a motion to approve the fiscal compliance and procedure manual?
So moved.
Motion by Laura Seis, do I have a second?
Second?
Second by Monica Erickson. Is there any discussion? No further discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 6-0. Now, the next 3 are coach contracts that, because they are
Relatives.
Relative.
direct children of 2 of the board members, that we will approve them separately while the board member abstains. So do I have a motion to approve the junior high volleyball coach, Allison Olson?
So moved.
Motion by Laura Seis. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Dave Olson. And Joni, you'll abstain?
Yep.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 5-0. The next one is to approve Jonathan Dashner as a junior high football coach. Do I have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Motion by Monica Erickson. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Laura Seis. I'll abstain. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 5-0.
You tell him he didn't get approved because he never got it.
I couldn't remember if I asked for the motion or not. It was just kind of. And then lastly, do I have a motion to approve Eric Dashner as the high school musical play assistant director?
So moved.
Motion by Joni Olson. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Laura Seis. I will abstain. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries 5-0. All right, and our upcoming meetings, September 15th is a regular meeting. October 6th is a study session that will have the curriculum and instruction presentation. And then October 20th will be a regular meeting. With that, we will adjourn at 6:09.
So how do you like our
Mike, are you
classes
taking
we're
your
doing on
Are you
Wednesday
officially
nights?
Michael now?
I was trying to be formal.